Hello everybody, it's Chrissy for Chrissy's Beautiful Life here with Everyday Inspiration. This is the series that myself, Crystal, Daisy, Dolly, Lisa, and Jen partake in every month. And we each pick one inspiration piece and we rotate between us to create layouts. So our first one here is, well, not the first one. We've been doing the series for a while. But this month's photo, I got to pick it, which was pretty fun, and we decided to do things a little bit differently and do something kind of unexpected. So I showed them this blurry photo that I took of my son sliding down this huge slide. It was called the volcano slide, and I couldn't get a good shot for the life of me. I kept trying, but he was going too fast, and the way that it was so poorly lit in that, because it's like one of those play zones. And so I couldn't get a really great photo. And we were kind of talking about how sometimes blurry photos are okay and you could do that. And so we decided to take that as our inspiration. Now, I'm not using blurry photos. You can see them quite well. But what it did make me think of when I went to go create this layout was how free-spirited my child is. And so I had this sticker that said Wild Heart from the sticker sheet that was sitting on my desk because I've been working with trying to get through it with the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet that I used just like last week to create another layout that I did for Sarah Scraps. And so it was sitting on my desk and, I'm trying to use stuff up. And so I'm like, this is all kind of coming together. So I dig through my pattern papers because I knew I had some cool kid from Crate Paper hanging out. I've kind of been hoarding this piece of pattern paper. It's got dinosaurs on the back of it, and my son, he still kind of is, but he's pretty obsessed with dinosaurs. And I've been wanting to do dinosaur layouts, but it's one of those things that I've been hoarding them for so long that now there's even cuter dinosaur paper. So I'm still going to use it. I'm going to use both sides of it, but I'm almost glad that I saved it because now I get to use this really pretty red orangey color that I can scrap with. Now, you all know I struggle scrapping with red. I really, really do. I have the hardest time with it. But this kind of orangey red I can do in little bits and pieces, in little chunks. So I go ahead and do that here. You can see I just lined up my photos. I was laying them out trying to decide the way I wanted them. And kind of my first placement of it was just kind of like, I like this, let's go with it. And then just to kind of highlight one of the photos, or him being the silliest, I just put a little bit of tissue paper underneath it and I popped that one photo up on some fun foam. And then you can see I'm building my layers without knowing what the background pattern paper or cardstock was going to be. I just kind of was like, let's start from the top and we'll work our way down today. This is not normally something I do. I'll be honest with you. I normally do the opposite. I start with my pattern paper, my base, and I build my layers up. And then if I don't have a photo, I find a photo. So I'm doing things a little bit differently for myself, but it really worked in this case. And I'm really, really pleased with the way it turned out. I just kept adding little bits and pieces, trying to make it all even itself out. I wanted to do some fun angles. And once I did that, and I'm like, okay, now I need to go ahead and create and figure out my background. So my first thing is I was thinking I could take these banners and kind of string them along and make the banner effect, but within my own like fussy cutting it out. So you're going to watch me go ahead and do this. I struggled with this part and finding my background paper. You can see I'm going through a few different options here. I settle on this piece. It is from Echo Park, and I believe it is from an agenda. Like it's got, this one is like rainbowed with the days of the week on it. And it worked really well with this. It's nice and light with a bit of splash of color. So I really liked it. I had actually been saving it to do something like a Project Life spread with it. Not a Project Life, a Traveler's Notebook spread with it. But I didn't, and I'm not hoarding my stuff. It's one thing I'm really, really, really trying to do during my spinning freeze is not hoard my things, is to get it used up, as to why that Wild Heart sticker is going to be that main title there. So you can see I'm thinking about it. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these out. And I cannot make it work. And I'm using my hands, which you cannot see right now. But I couldn't make them angle the way I wanted them to, because I wanted them to be like they were bannered down the layout with my photos, like so they were cascading down. And I couldn't make that work. So I'm like, all right, that's enough. I don't need to worry about that. I did make me think of, however, that I had that big epoxy sticker banner from the same collection, and it says best kid ever. Now, there's some people don't like to use some phrases like that when you have multiple children because you don't want your kids to feel like you're favoring one over the other. Yes and no. Like, I totally get where you come from with that, and I would be cautious and really conscious about when I'm creating to make sure that all of my layouts of Jackson don't say that, and then none of my layouts of Nora or Barrett. But if they all have a nice sprinkling of best kid ever, it doesn't matter. They're gonna, and honestly, really, they should know how much you love them by your actions and not by your scrapbook pages, right? So I do use the word best kid ever because he's being silly and funny, and it just fits. It's part of the collection, and so I'm using it more so than the actual saying on it. So that's kind of my take on that little thought there. I really, really wanted to get that dinosaur. I tried, but it's not going to work. Instead, I go ahead and dig through one of the bowls that I have. Now, these are the ones that if you've been watching my kind of room share and where my embellishment things and where I'm keeping things, this is in my Raskog cart, and I just have a bunch of random embellishments. And so I just grabbed one of the bowls. I believe this one is mostly a Heidi Swap, like ephemera pack. And I'm going to grab a couple pieces. One of them says, do something that makes you look at your phone less, or something along the lines of that, which is funny because I'm using my phone to take these selfies. But I'm not looking at my phone to like look at my phone and be on Facebook and stuff. We're just making funny faces. And so I feel like that kind of works. And then I needed that pop of green. It really felt, because he's got a green shirt, and I didn't want to use that particular green because that's another color I struggle with. But the other, that lighter green, I just feel like it works. So I just kind of went with it. I do trim off the part because that's a journaling card. So I do trim that off, and I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of that down at the bottom where I managed to take that banner that you see that says adventure. I'm going to use that to kind of hang off the side of the layout. So you've got a reason for this layout to be a 12 by 12. My other option could have been to cut it and make it like a 9 by 12 layout so that it made a little bit more sense, because there's a lot of broken real estate on the right-hand side otherwise. But adding that banner, and then I'm going to put my journaling right underneath it, placed it, made a home for it, and then a 12 by 12 makes sense in this case. I also went into my other little bowl that I have. Now, this is the one that's sitting on my desk. And if I do not get through what's in there by the end of December, I think I gave myself the goal of, then it's going away. It's either going to be in a little bag to go in my giveaway pile, or if it's not anything miraculous or special, it will be passed on to my child's school. So I'll look through it when the time comes. But I was able to get a few things used up. I used 3 stars, I believe, and there was a vellum heart in there. And because I'm telling the title being Wild Heart, I felt like that worked too. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that just at the top left corner of my photo, kind of clusters there. And that kind of does it for this layout. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check on everyone else's layouts. A couple of them are going to be up a little bit late. I know Lisa is in the middle of having a great time in Disney World, and I think Jen's like me, and we're a little bit slower on our voiceovers, so ours are up a little bit late. But Daisy and Crystal and Dolly, theirs should already be up. I will have links below to either their channels or the actual video, and I cannot wait to see what they did, because this was a challenging photo. I always find when I pick the photos I'm most challenged. When I see other people's photos, I get an idea right away and my layouts take flight. But this one was a struggle. However, I think I made it work. So there is a look at my finished layout. I will see everybody soon with some more fun stuff. Bye and have a great day.